to 1. 1 to 1. 2 to 1. 3 to 1. 4 to 1. 4 to 2. 5 to 2. 5 to 3. 6 to 3. 6 to 4. 6 to 5. 7 to 5. 7 to 6. 8 to 6. 8 to 7. 9 to 7. 10 to 7. 11 to 7. 12 to 7. 12 to 8. 12 to 9. 12 to 10. 12 to 11. 13 to 11. 14 to 11. 14 to 12. 14 to 13. 14 to 14. 14 to 15. 15 to 15. 16 to 15. 16 to 16. 17 to 16. 18 to 16. 18 to 17. 18 to 18. 18 to 19. 19 to 19. 20 to 19. 20 to 20. 20 to 21. 20 to 22. 20 to 23. 20 to 24. 21 to 24. 21 to 25. 22 to 25. 22 to 26. 22 to 27. 23 to 27. 24 to 27. 24 to 28. 24 to 29. 25 to 29. 25 to 30. 26 to 30. 26 to 31. 26 to 32. 26 to 33. 26 to 34. 27 to 34. 27 to 35. 28 to 35. 28 to 36. 28 to 37. 28 to 38. 28 to 39. 29 to 39. 30 to 39. 31 to 39. 31 to 40. 32 to 40. 32 to 41. 33 to 41. 34 to 41. 34 to 42. 34 to 43. 35 to 43. 35 to 44. 35 to 45, 36 to 45, 36 to 46, 37 to 46, 38 to 46, 38 to 47, 39 to 47, 40 to 47, 40 to 48, 41 to 48, 42 to 48, 43 to 48, 43 to 49, 44 to 49, 45 to 49, 46 to 49, 46 to 50, 46 to 51, 47 to 51, 47 to 52, 47 to 53, 47 to 54, 47 to 55, 48 to 55, 49 to 55, 49 to 56, 49 to 57, 49 to 58, 50 to 58, 50 to 59, 51 to 59, 51 to 60, 51 to 61, 51 to 62, 51 to 63, 51 to 64, 52 to 64, 52 to 65, 52 to 66, 53 to 66, 53 to 67, 54 to 67, 54 to 68, 55 to 68, 56 to 68, 57 to 68, 58 to 68, 59 to 68, 60 to 68, 60 to 69, 61 to 69, 61 to 70, 62 to 70, 63 to 70, 63 to 71, 64 to 71, 65 to 71, 65 to 72, 66 to 72, 66 to 73, 67 to 73, 67 to 74, 67 to 75, 67 to 76, 68 to 76, 69 to 76, 70 to 76, 70 to 77, 71 to 77, 72 to 77, 72 to 78, 72 to 79, 72 to 80, 73 to 80, 73 to 81, 74 to 81, 74 to 82. 75 to 82. 76 to 82. 76 to 83. 77 to 83. 77 to 84. 77 to 85. 78 to 85. 78 to 86. 78 to 87. 79 to 87. 79 to 88. 80 to 88. 81 to 88. 82 to 88. 83 to 88. 83 to 89. 83 to 90. 84 to 90. 85 to 90. 86 to 90. 87 to 90. 87 to 91. 87 to 92. 87 to 93. 87 to 94. 88 to 94. 89 to 94. 89 to 95. 90 to 95. 91 to 95. 91 to 96. 92 to 96. 93 to 96. 94 to 96. 95 to 96. 96 to 96. 97 to 96. 98 to 96. 98 to 97. 99 to 97. 100 to 97. 100 to 98. 100 to 99. 101 to 99. 102 to 99. 103 to 99. 103 to 100. 104 to 100. 104 to 101. 105 to 101. 105 to 102. 106 to 102. 106 to 103. 107 to 103. 108 to 103. 108 to 104. 108 to 105. 108 to 106. 109 to 106. 110 to 106. 110 to 107. 110 to 108. 111 to 108. 111 to 109. 112 to 109. 112 to 110. 112 to 111. 113 to 111. 114 to 111. 115 to 111. 115 to 112. 115 to 113. 115 to 114. 115 to 115. 116 to 115. 117 to 115, 118 to 115, 119 to 115, 120 to 115, 120 to 116, 120 to 117, 120 to 118, 120 to 119, 121 to 119, 121 to 120, 122 to 120, 123 to 120, 124 to 120, 124 to 121, 125 to 121, 126 to 121, 127 to 121, 127 to 122, 128 to 120, 129 to 122, 129 to 123, 130 to 123, 130 to 124, 130 to 125, 131 to 125, 131 to 126, 132 to 120, 133 to 126, 133 to 127, 133 to 128, 134 to 128, 135 to 128, 135 to 129, 136 to 129, 136 to 130, 136 to 131, 136 to 132, 136 to 133, 136 to 134, 136 to 135, 136 to 136, 136 to 137, 137 to 137, 137 to 138, 138 to 138, 139 to 138, 139 to 139, 139 to 140, 140 to 140, 140 to 141, 141 to 141, 141 to 140, 141 to 143, 142 to 143, 142 to 144, 142 to 145, 142 to 146, 143 to 146, 143 to 147, 143 to 148, 143 to 149, 144 to 149, 144 to 150, 145 to 150, 145 to 151, 145 to 152, 146 to 152, 147 to 152, 148 to 152, 149 to 152, 149 to 153, 150 to 153, 150 to 154, 151 to 154, 151 to 155, 151 to 156, 151 to 150, 152 to 157, 152 to 158, 152 to 159, 153 to 159, 153 to 160, 154 to 160, 155 to 160, 156 to 160, 157 to 160, 157 to 161, 158 to 161, 159 to 161, 160 to 161, 160 to 162, 161 to 162, 161 to 163, 162 to 163, 162 to 164, 162 to 165, 162 to 166, 162 to 167, 163 to 106, 164 to 167, 165 to 167, 166 to 167, 167 to 167, 167 to 168, 167 to 169, 168 to 169, 169 to 169, 170 to 169, 171 to 169, 171 to 170, 172 to 170, 173 to 107, 174 to 170, 174 to 171, 175 to 107, 176 to 171, 177 to 170, 178 to 171, 179 to 171, 179 to 172, 180 to 172, 180 to 173, 181 to 173, 182 to 173, 182 to 174, 182 to 175, 183 to 175, 183 to 176, 184 to 176, 185 to 176, 185 to 107, 186 to 177, 186 to 170, 186 to 170, 187 to 107, 188 to 179, 188 to 180, 188 to 181, 188 to 182, 189 to 180, 189 to 183, 190 to 183, 190 to 184, 190 to 185, 191 to 185, 192 to 185, 193 to 185, 193 to 186, 194 to 108, 195 to 186, 195 to 187, 196 to 187, 196 to 188, 196 to 189, 196 to 190, 197 to 109, 198 to 190, 199 to 190, 199 to 199 to 192, 199 to 193, 200 to 193, 200 to 194, 201 to 194, 202 to 194, 202 to 195, 203 to 195, 204 to 195, 205 to 195, 205 to 196, 206 to 196, 207 to 196, 207 to 197, 208 to 197, 209 to 197, 209 to 198, 210 to 198, 212 to 198, 212 to 199, 212 to 200, 212 to 201, 213 to 201, 214 to 201, 214 to 202, 215 to 202, 215 to 203, 215 to 204, 215 to 205, 216 to 205, 216 to 206, 217 to 206, 218 to 206, 218 to 207, 219 to 207, 220 to 207, 221 to 207, 222 to 207, 223 to 207, 224 to 207, 224 to 208, 224 to 209, 225 to 209, 226 to 209, 227 to 209, 228 to 209, 229 to 209, 230 to 209, 231 to 209, 232 to 209, 232 to 210, 232 to 211, 232 to 212, 233 to 212, 233 to 200, 234 to 213, 234 to 214, 235 to 214, 236 to 214, 236 to 215, 237 to 215, 238 to 215, 238 to 216, 239 to 216, 239 to 217, 240 to 217, 241 to 217, 241 to 218, 242 to 218, 243 to 218, 244 to 218, 245 to 218, 245 to 219, 246 to 219, 247 to 219, 248 to 219, 248 to 220, 249 to 220, 249 to 221, 250 to 221, 250 to 222, 251 to 222, 252 to 222, 253 to 222, 254 to 222, 254 to 223, 255 to 223, 255 to 224, 255 to 225, 255 to 226, 255 to 227, 255 to 228, 255 to 229, 256 to 229, 256 to 230, 257 to 230, 258 to 230, 259 to 230, 260 to 230, 260 to 231, 260 to 230, 261 to 232, 262 to 232, 262 to 233, 262 to 234, 262 to 235, 262 to 236, 262 to 237, 262 to 238, 263 to 238, 264 to 238, 264 to 239, 265 to 239, 265 to 240, 265 to 241, 266 to 241, 267 to 241, 267 to 242, 268 to 242, 268 to 243, 269 to 243, 269 to 244, 270 to 244, 270 to 245, 270 to 246, 271 to 246, 271 to 247, 271 to 248, 272 to 248, 272 to 249, 273 to 249, 273 to 250, 273 to 251, 274 to 251, 275 to 251, 275 to 252, 275 to 253, 275 to 254, 276 to 254, 277 to 254, 278 to 254, 279 to 254, 279 to 255, 280 to 255, 281 to 255, 281 to 256, 281 to 257, 281 to 258, 282 to 258, 282 to 259, 282 to 260, 283 to 260, 283 to 261, 284 to 261, 285 to 261, 285 to 260, 286 to 262, 287 to 262, 288 to 262, 288 to 263, 289 to 263, 290 to 263, 290 to 264, 291 to 264, 292 to 264, 292 to 265, 293 to 265, 293 to 266, 293 to 267, 293 to 268, 294 to 268, 294 to 269, 294 to 270, 295 to 270, 296 to 270, 297 to 270, 298 to 270, 299 to 270, 300 to 270, 301 to 270, 301 to 271, 301 to 272, 302 to 272, 302 to 273, 303 to 273, 303 to 274, 304 to 274, 305 to 274, 305 to 275, 306 to 275, 306 to 270, 307 to 276, 307 to 277, 308 to 277, 309 to 277, 310 to 277. 311 to 277. 312 to 277. 312 to 278. 312 to 279. 313 to 207. 313 to 280. 314 to 280. 314 to 281. 314 to 282. 315 to 282. 315 to 283. 315 to 284. 315 to 285. 316 to 285. 317 to 285. 318 to 208. 319 to 286. 319 to 287. 319 to 288. 319 to 289. 319 to 290. 320 to 290. 321 to 290. 322 to 290. 322 to 291. 322 to 292. 323 to 292. 324 to 292. 325 to 292. 326 to 292. 327 to 292. 328 to 292. 328 to 293. 328 to 294. 329 to 294. 330 to 294. 330 to 295. 330 to 296. 330 to 297. 330 to 298. 330 to 299. 331 to 299. 331 to 300. 331 to 301. 331 to 302. 331 to 303. 331 to 304. 332 to 304. 333 to 304. 333 to 305. 334 to 305. 335 to 305. 335 to 306. 335 to 307. 336 to 307. 336 to 308. 337 to 308. 337 to 309. 338 to 309. 339 to 309. 339 to 310. 339 to 311. 340 to 311. 340 to 312. 340 to 313. 340 to 314. 341 to 314. 341 to 315. 341 to 316, 341 to 317, 341 to 318, 341 to 319, 342 to 319, 343 to 319, 343 to 320, 343 to 321, 343 to 322, 343 to 323, 343 to 324, 343 to 325, 343 to 326, 343 to 327, 344 to 327, 344 to 328, 345 to 328, 346 to 328, 347 to 328, 347 to 329, 347 to 330, 347 to 331, 347 to 332, 347 to 333, 347 to 334, 348 to 334, 349 to 334, 349 to 335, 350 to 335, 351 to 335, 351 to 336, 351 to 337, 351 to 338, 352 to 338, 352 to 339, 353 to 339, 353 to 340, 354 to 340, 355 to 340, 355 to 341, 355 to 342, 355 to 343, 355 to 344, 355 to 345, 355 to 346, 355 to 347, 356 to 347, 356 to 348, 357 to 348, 358 to 348, 359 to 348, 359 to 349, 359 to 350, 359 to 351, 359 to 352, 360 to 352, 361 to 352, 362 to 352, 362 to 353, 363 to 353, 363 to 354, 363 to 355, 364 to 355, 365 to 355, 366 to 355, 367 to 355, 367 to 356, 368 to 356, 369 to 356, 369 to 357, 369 to 358, 370 to 358, 371 to 358, 372 to 358, 372 to 359, 373 to 359, 373 to 360, 374 to 360, 374 to 361, 375 to 361, 375 to 362, 375 to 363, 376 to 363, 377 to 360, 378 to 363, 379 to 363, 380 to 363, 380 to 364, 380 to 365, 380 to 366, 380 to 367, 381 to 367, 382 to 367, 382 to 368, 383 to 368, 384 to 368, 384 to 369, 384 to 370, 385 to 370, 385 to 371, 385 to 372, 386 to 372, 387 to 372, 387 to 373, 388 to 373, 389 to 373, 390 to 373, 391 to 373, 392 to 373, 392 to 374, 393 to 374, 394 to 374, 394 to 370, 394 to 376, 394 to 377, 394 to 378, 395 to 378, 396 to 396 to 379, 396 to 380, 397 to 380, 397 to 381, 398 to 381, 399 to 381, 400 to 381, 400 to 382, 400 to 383, 401 to 383, 401 to 384, 401 to 385, 402 to 385, 403 403 to 385. 404 to 385. 405 to 385. 405 to 386. 406 to 386. 406 to 387. 407 to 387. 407 to 388. 407 to 389. 408 to 389. 409 to 389. 409 to 390. 410 to 390. 411 to 390. 411 to 391. 412 to 391. 412 to 392. 413 to 392. 413 to 393. 414 to 393. 415 to 393. 415 to 394. 416 to 394. 417 to 394. 418 to 394. 418 to 395. 419 to 395. 420 to 395. 420 to 396. 420 to 397. 421 to 397. 422 to 397. 422 to 398. 422 to 399. 423 to 399. 423 to 400. 424 to 400. 424 to 401. 424 to 402. 425 to 402. 425 to 403. 426 to 403. 426 to 404. 427 to 404. 428 to 404. 429 to 404. 430 to 404. 431 to 404. 432 to 404. 433 to 404. 433 to 405. 433 to 406. 434 to 406. 434 to 407. 434 to 408. 434 to 409. 435 to 409. 436 to 409. 437 to 409. 437 to 410. 438 to 410. 438 to 411. 439 to 411. 440 to 411. 440 to 412. 441 to 412. 442 to 412. 442 to 413. 443 to 413. 444 to 413. 444 to 400. 445 to 414. 445 to 415. 445 to 416. 445 to 407. 446 to 417. 447 to 417. 448 to 417. 448 to 418. 448 to 419. 448 to 420. 449 to 420. 449 to 421. 450 to 421. 450 to 422. 451 to 422. 451 to 423. 452 to 423. 453 to 423. 453 to 424. 453 to 425. 454 to 425. 454 to 426. 455 to 426. 456 to 426. 457 to 426. 458 to 426. 458 to 427. 458 to 428. 458 to 429. 459 to 429. 459 to 430. 459 to 431. 460 to 431. 461 to 431. 461 to 432. 462 to 432. 462 to 433. 463 to 433. 464 to 433. 464 to 434. 464 to 435. 464 to 436. 464 to 437. 464 to 438. 465 to 438. 466 to 438. 467 to 438. 467 to 439. 467 to 440. 468 to 440. 469 to 440. 470 to 440. 471 to 440. 471 to 441. 472 to 441. 472 to 442. 473 to 442. 474 to 442. 475 to 442. 476 to 442. 477 to 442. 478 to 442. 478 to 443. 479 to 443. 479 to 444. 480 to 444. 480 to 445. 481 to 481 to 446. 482 to 446. 482 to 447. 482 to 448. 482 to 449. 482 to 450. 482 to 451. 482 to 452. 483 to 452. 483 to 453. 484 to 453. 484 to 454. 485 to 454. 486 to 454. 486 to 455. 487 to 455. 488 to 455. 488 to 456. 488 to 457. 488 to 458. 489 to 458. 490 to 458. 491 to 458. 491 to 459. 491 to 460. 491 to 461. 491 to 462. 492 to 460. 493 to 462. 493 to 463. 493 to 464. 494 to 464. 495 to 464. 496 to 464. 496 to 465. 496 to 466. 496 to 467. 496 to 468. 496 to 469. 496 to 470. 497 to 470. 498 to 470. 499 to 471. 499 to 472. 499 to 473. 500 to 473.